Please leave your message for 5.
Yeah, this one's clear. The other one wasn't. I wonder what happened. This one's bad. Hello? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, you guys. Want to make sure everything is working right. As usual, I always end up with some kind of technical difficulty. It never fails. It never fails. I can see and hear you. Okay, great. Thanks. Because I got on a few minutes ago. I said about 10 minutes ago, and the streaming was terrible, and it was just really bad. Then it kicked me out. I guess my internet is just terrible. I don't know what the problem is, but it's always something. And I always try to go on early to see if everything is going to work out. And it does. And then when it's almost 8 o'clock, that's when all heck breaks loose. So I'm glad that it's working, because I actually had to create um, another streaming. So good. I have how many people? I have 5 people on here already. So glad to see everybody. Hi, I have Yola Bean from California. I have Val Dawson and Andrea Ross and Pearl Lucas. So hello from North Carolina. Andrea is from Maryland. Val, I'm not sure where you're from. I probably forgot about that. So anyway, I'm so glad that you guys have decided to stop by again. And it is just about 8 o'clock. Again, like I said, there's a live streaming demon in my house, or something that always tries to make things complicated for me when it's time to go on. But I am refusing to allow that to take control. So I keep trying. Maybe one day it'll be perfect. I don't know. So I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, you say it's better now. So did you see the other streaming that had all of the interference and everything in it? It was like, yeah, I got to get that taken care of. So Val, you're from Philly. Okay, I think I remember that, but sometimes things just kind of go by the wayside. So it looks like I have about 6 people on so far. So hopefully I'll get a few more people coming on. We always have people that straggle on. But I was just wondering um, if any of you got a chance to see my latest video. You probably haven't, because I just put it up. It just went public, I would say, about an hour and a half ago. I don't. I was messing around with trying to do this little design that I have on here. It's the latest crave that's out there, the latest trend. Everybody is doing videos about how to do the writing on the curve of your neck. And I wanted to put my little 2 cent in there. So I did a video on that. So if you guys get a chance at some point to look at that. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I had some, I guess, pearls of wisdom about embrilliance. I know last week when were on, it seemed like the majority of everybody that was on used embrilliance. And I did some research on embrilliance this week. I wanted to get more proficient with it and be able to share some knowledge and everything. And what I was able to do, which I thought was pretty cool, is to get some shortcuts, because I remember when the crafty Puerto Rican, and hopefully she'll be able to get on, she did a video on the curved neckline trend that everybody, I mean, every time I turn around, I see somebody else has a video on it. So I guess I just had to join the club. But the one thing that I didn't notice, and that was the reason why I decided to do mine, is that the majority of everybody did it on a single needle machine. I saw two people do it on a multi-needle machine, and one of them had Wilcom Hatch uh, digitizing program, and they obviously know how to use it because they digitized and set it up and had it all the the photograph of the shirt in there, and they could line everything up perfectly, and it stitched out beautiful, and it was just wonderful. And I know the person was so happy with how it came out and looked, and it seemed to be very simple to do, but of course he had the right tools. And then another person that did it with the multi-needle machine had their machine had a laser crosshair, so everybody could see it. I mean, she could see the shirt put in there, and she could pinpoint exactly where she wanted it to be, and so forth and so on. But I don't have those kinds of useful things, so I decided that I was going to try to do the old-fashioned way. And I used them brilliance, and I felt really good about how I was able to figure out the program and make it work. And so therefore I am wearing the shirt. In my video, I have on a different shirt that I did the day before. Um, and then I wanted to do another shirt for the video, and I did. So that's what I'm wearing. So if you guys get a chance, look at that. So let me see who's on here now. Pearl, I saw that video a little earlier, and it was very helpful for me because I'm new with embroidery. Okay, I'm glad that you thought that it was helpful. I thought that once I got into it, I know it was a little lengthy, about 36 minutes, I guess, so that wasn't too bad. But I went into the embrilliance part about how to move letters around and do the curving and everything, and be able to take away some stitches and put something in and so forth. So if you're new to embrilliance or you're new to embroidery, you might want to look at it. It might be helpful. So just want to throw that out. So looks like Andrea and Pearl, are you guys, do you guys know each other? And let me see who else is in here. Oh, because she's from North Carolina. And I think Andrea is from North Carolina. Um, let me see. Got 9 people on here now. I'm not seeing 9 new names here, but anybody that I haven't said hi to yet, hi. Your name is not showing up, but if you want to, chime in with a chat or say hello or whatever, so I can recognize you and shout your name out if that's something that you're interested in. So the title of this particular live stream is Interesting Facts, and I spent all last week trying to figure out what it was that I was going to talk about, or we were going to talk about, pretty much. And few things came to mind and few suggestions were made. And one thing that I want to bring up is general maintenance of the machine. I had an issue, I would say about a month or so ago with my machine. I was trying to do I was trying to do some t-shirts. I was putting logos and everything on it. and I kept getting the wiper error message and the timing error message. And I had no clue what that meant. I had no clue how to fix it. I didn't even know where to begin. And of course, my son always tells me to Google, and I did. And I found out that I needed to clean out my needle plate. And so I don't know if everybody does that on the regular, but when I cleaned mine out, I have to tell you, I was tickled and I was embarrassed because I remembered that since I had been down and not really doing too much, I had not done any routine maintenance on my machine, and I had not taken that plate off in months. And when I took that plate off, it was so full of thread and lint and everything. It was funny. It actually was funny to me. I had to laugh because I was saying, no wonder my poor baby was crying and she didn't want to work because she needed to be cleaned up. And so I just wanted to know, do you guys have that? Have you had that issue? And if you have, did you know what to do? So Yola Bean, I see you said sometimes the wiper error can be because of the needle plate. Exactly. And that's what I was saying. It is. You need to take those two screws out, take the plate off, and clean all of that area out, and then put it back on there. And hopefully that'll get rid of the wiper error. But I had no clue. I didn't even know what it was. So you said that you just said that. Yep, one little thread will mess up everything. And she learned that the hard way. And so did I, because I had no clue what it was until I Googled and looked it up and tried to figure out what was causing the problem. And once I got that taken care of, then my wiper error pretty much went away because I was getting it. It was just, it just kept coming and coming, and I was beginning to think that there was something really wrong with my machine, and I'm gonna have to take it in and get it fixed, and so forth and so on. But it's a really simple fix if you just take that needle plate off and clean it out. So that's something that you need to do on a regular. The other thing is, and I don't know, most of you probably already know this, but your needles, your 10 needles, if you pull the needle down as far as it will go, and sometimes you have to adjust it or make sure that the needle is whatever needle that you're trying to pull down, that's the one that you've selected. There is a little white, um, can't even think of what, it's a little white felt piece of felt. That's what it looks like, a piece of felt that needs to be oiled every so often. And I didn't know that for a while, but I've known it for a while now. But initially, when I first got my machine, I would say for the first maybe year, to be honest about it, I didn't know that that was something I was supposed to do. I was very much aware that you're supposed to oil the bobbin area every day because the machine reminds you to do that. But I was aware of that. But I did not know anything about that felt piece, um, that's in your needle bar, in the bar. And you need to do that. Um, I won't, it depends upon how much you use the machine. That will dictate how often you need to do that. And the other thing that I wanted to point out, because I've heard, um, I don't know what I was on. I was on somebody's site, and they asked a question about changing needles. And I was surprised to read some of the comments. People were not changing their needles. Some people wouldn't change the needle until the needle broke. And they would just stitch, 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 and never change the needle, and not even realizing that that has a great effect on the quality of your garment when you're stitching. And it also can cause you to have breakage. So if you're doing it commercially and you're doing a lot of embroidery, they do recommend that you change your needles out daily. I don't do that much, so I don't change my needle out daily, but I will change all 10 needles at least every other month. That's pretty much how I do it. Or if I notice some thread breakage, or if you're getting bird nest, or sometimes it ravels, your thread would ravel. Those are indication that you might need to change your needle. It does not always mean that there's an issue with your tension and stuff like that, but it definitely means that you might need to change your needle. So if you're not doing that, I would recommend that you start trying to put that on your agenda. And hi, Becky. You said you didn't know what? I'm not sure what it is you didn't know. Maybe about the needle plate that we were talking about. And thank you for loving my shirt. I just told everybody that I did this, actually did the shirt today. And I did the shirt for a, oil. Well, it's not the needle plate that you need to oil. You said oil needle plate. It's not the needle plate. It is, and I can't show you, but your needle mechanism, when that bar, I guess, the needle bar, that you can pull it all the way down. And if you pull it all the way down, you can see a little piece of white felt that's up there. That needs to be oiled. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what the terminology is for that, but that's something that needs to be oiled. Yeah, it's the little round at the top of the needle bar. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's what you need to oil occasionally, and that will determine on how much you use your machine. Now, I don't have a maintenance schedule, so I can't say I do it every month, every other month, or whatever, but it does depend upon how much you're using your machine. If you're using your machine a lot and you're doing a lot of embroidery on a daily basis, weekly basis, then you need to oil that more often. Just as we know we need to oil our bobbin area every day, that felt piece of that white felt that's in your needle bar needs to be oiled occasionally. I would say at least every other month, just like when you change your needles out, then I would recommend that you do that as well. So just want to pass that little tidbit out there in case you didn't know about it. So let me see who's on here now. Um, that I have not recognized. Pearl, I think I said hi to you. And Becky, okay. And um, TR, the felt around the top of the needle is what we were talking about. And yes, so she got that. And not many mention oil in that part. Exactly, because I can't remember how I learned about it, but some kind of way I was able to find out about it. And I've been doing it ever since. Hi, Sue Davis. Thanks for stopping in. Um, Glad you were able to join us with our little chat for today. So those are the few things that I wanted to point out. Let me see what else that I have on here. I have cleaned the plate, the thread, the needle pad, changing the needles, the bobbin, oiling, the wiper, and the timer. Okay. So those are just routine maintenance that we ourselves can do without having to take our machine in. And a lot of times, if you do those things on the regular, then your machine is going to run much better and you're not going to have to worry about doing any maintenance. Now, when I bought my machine, it was recommended to me that I have it have a maintenance done on it annually, once a year. But due to unforeseen circumstances and the fact I really wasn't using my machine that much, I didn't get the annual maintenance, but I did get it done um, basically year two. And everything was fine. They didn't find anything wrong with my machine. And of course, all he did is went inside and oiled all the other mechanisms that needs to be oiled. And everything was fine. So don't forget that you do need to have some routine maintenance on your machine. I don't know if it's some people say so many stitches, so many hours. I've heard 500 hours. I've heard so many million stitches. I'm not seeing anything that has any specific like that, but what I was told was on an annual basis. And so Andrea, the dealer, told her and showed me how to oil the pads. And I still don't understand the bobbin part. So where to exactly put the oil in at the during the down there at the bobbin. They do have a diagram that is in your cover that flips out. It is confusing, and it's if I'm if I understand it correctly, because I'm probably 100% wrong as well, but I oil it. To me, it looks like a little V point that connects, and I dropped the oil in there. I don't know if that's the correct place. That's what I've always been doing, because when I see the diagram, that's what it looks like to me. And I haven't had any problems. So I'm assuming that's the correct place. If anybody on here knows anything different, anything better, please put that in the comment, because I really want to know exactly where it goes myself. I'm just doing it the way I think it's supposed to be done, based upon based upon what it looks like to me in the diagram, and even in the manual, it's not that clear where it's supposed to be. So that's what I'm thinking it's supposed to be at. So, like I said, if anybody has any additional information or correct information, please chime in and let us know, because I don't know any difference than what I look at on the picture. Okay, so I don't see anything else on there about that. So, like I mentioned, I Googled some Embrilliance shortcuts for those that use Embrilliance. And uh, I know there's a lot of people that there are some people that use other software, and I don't use that software. I use Embrilliance mostly. I am going to. I was thinking about that today. I need to make a schedule and make myself learn Will Come Hatch, because I paid for it and it was not cheap. And it does have some really good features in it, because I was thoroughly impressed with the guy that did the curved neck digitized. He had the boundaries and he put the lettering inside the boundaries. He had it all measured out and everything, and was able to photograph his shirt and all of that stuff. And I was like, he made it look so simple and easy and quick, but he had the tools. So when you have the tools to do something, it makes things a lot easier for you. And so I thought about it. I said, since I own this product, I should learn it. So I'm going to try to dedicate at least 1 hour per, I keep saying per day, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it per day. But I'm definitely going to dedicate some time all week, every day, every week, to learn something about Wilcon Hatch, because just as Ann was saying, it is a great software to have. It does so much. And if you go into John Deere Legacy uh, site, and he usually has well, he will announce when there's sales going on, and I think he throws in some extra goodies that, joining his legacy design clubs and stuff like that, where you can get a lot of his designs and stuff free if you go through him to buy your software. So that's just a little tidbit. And then of course he does have all his courses, and he has a few of them that are free. They're very basic, but they'll give you a little background on it. And he does, yes, he does do YouTube tutorials. And let me get back to you, Ann. You said oiling the hook too. Can you explain that? Because that's something that I don't think I do. I don't think I know what exactly that means. So if you don't mind explaining that a little bit in the chat, and I'll read it out to everybody, because I'm not sure everybody knows that. And okay, anything else that I didn't follow up on that people put comments in about what we were talking about? I don't think so. So if you don't mind, and Feelback, if you can just kind of expound a little bit on the oil in the hook too, that would be so helpful. I would appreciate that. So I was speaking about Embrilliance shortcuts and what I did. Now I use Chrome, but I think Microsoft Bling came out with some updates and new AI things that they've added to Microsoft 11. And I have Microsoft 11, and it popped up on my screen yesterday, and it talked about all, it's almost same thing like Google, I guess, but it says ask me anything, and we can get back with you. So I typed in what are some of the shortcuts. My thing was Embroidery software keyboard shortcuts. What are, and it popped up, it went in there and it gave me a whole list of them. So I was like, okay, that works for me. So they're pretty straightforward. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to actually go through them here because I don't think anybody wants to be taking notes. But I will do a short video on it and put all of that information up there if anybody's interested in it. But they're really simple, like your graphics and your undos and your shift, uh, just simple things that doesn't require a lot of thought. Like you can do your control N is for new design, control O is open design, control S is save a design, control Z is undo, things like that. So it makes it real simple. Use your control key, and then the letter that represents what you want to do is kind of how I understood it. So it is very simple. Freezing, or is it just me? Wait a minute. Am I freezing? It's where the sharper point comes out in the bobbin holder. Okay. I don't oil anything down there. I'm trying to visualize in my head exactly what you mean. Your machine prompts you to oil the hook every time you turn the machine on. Okay, so that's what you're calling the hook in the bobbin area. Okay, then I do that. So yeah, I think most people do that because it does prompt you to do it every time you turn it on. And I do oil my bobbin area. Now, TR, you said freezing, or is it just me? And Ann said no freezing here. So am I freezing, or are you talking about the weather? Because I'm looking and I look clear. And it looks like my lighting is a lot better, hopefully. So I'm not seeing any freezing, but that doesn't mean that it isn't happening. Okay, Yola Bean said it's a quick message that pops up when the machine is turning on. You can miss it if you aren't looking at the screen. But yeah, it comes up every time. And I put that in my head. I already know I'm supposed to oil my bobbin area every day when I turn it on to use. And so that part I'm pretty much familiar with. Okay, the live was freezing, had to be on my end. Okay. So hopefully I'm not freezing to anybody else. If I am, let me know. But what I'm looking at so far, it looks like it's only TR that's having that freezing issue. Because I know my internet and everything can mess up on me every time I try to start the live. That's exactly what happens. It just kind of gets a little wonky, and luckily I'm able to pull it together and get on here without having it too bad. So I just wanted to let you know that there's a lot of useful shortcuts for Embrilliance, and I will, like I said, I'm going to do a short video on it and just kind of bring some of that information. I think I'll pull up a PowerPoint and put it on there so people could see it. and get some of the shortcuts for your embrilliance to make life a little simpler and a little easier. And another person said they love my shirt. I don't know if you were on here when I mentioned the fact that I just did a video. I just uploaded it this evening. It may be up now about 2 hours. So I did the tutorial about how I did this on my on the 10 needle machine. And I wanted to do it on the 10 needle machine because the majority of the videos that are out there that I see are being done on a single needle machine, and it's easier to do it on a single needle machine. And I have a single needle machine, but I didn't want to do it on that. I wanted to figure out how to do it on my 10 needle machine. There's a little maneuvering that has to be done, but look at my video. I do go over some of the features that we have on our if you have the Brother PR 1055X, and it's probably with the 1050 as well. There is an icon that looks like the embroidery machine, but it has a magnifying glass inside. Um, and if you click on that, you can get a picture of your garment. And there's also, I need my notification to go off. There's also a icon right above it where you can select your crosshair, and you can make it whatever color you want, but mine is on green. And with that magnifying icon, you can make it large if you need to, and you can pinpoint exactly where you have marked where you want your center to be. And I go through all of that on the video, but that is very helpful. And to me, that's kind of a substitute for a laser. We don't have a laser per se on our machine, but we do have that feature on our machine that kind of will do the exact same thing as what a laser does. The only thing a laser does is shine the light down on it. But if this is taking a picture and you see the crosshair exactly where you want it, and then you just move, you have the directional um, icons on there too, where you can go up and down and left and right and so forth and so on until you get it in the exact position that you want it to be in. And then you can go ahead and do your stitching. So those of us that do have that machine, we're lucky with that. We're able to be able to get everything done, centered and everything. So I talk about that in my video. So if you're interested in it, hop on and look at that at your leisure whenever you get a chance. Okay, so now what I want to ask, and I know some of us do have businesses, or we're interested in businesses if we don't do it yet with our embroidery or our crafting or our quilting or any of those things that we're doing. And my question is, and it's to help me as well as everybody else on here, do you have a marketing strategy? What are you doing to get customers? Because that's what I have found to be the most challenging thing for me, is to be able to um, get my information out in the public, that I actually am available to do the work, and I do the work. I do have some customers, and I do work for people, but I haven't done a lot. So, and you say you do Facebook Marketplace. Do you put your items up there? Is that what you do? And you sell them? Or are you actually getting orders? That's my question. And since we're talking about that, while people are thinking about it and hopefully will comment on it, last week when we talked about vendor fairs and festivals and so forth, and it was strongly recommended to me to Google to find out where events are in my area. Well, that's exactly what I did. I did go on Google and I did find several places and situations. So I'm glad to let you know that I will be getting prepared to do some vendor fairs. I'm not going to do it until in the fall because I want to give me myself enough time to get enough of my items made and ready to sell. My son and I are going to partner together and start doing some vendor fairs. So that was an excellent suggestion. I enjoyed all of the feedback. I wrote a lot of the suggestions down about items to create to sell. And so that was so helpful to me. So thank you guys a lot. So back to you, Ann, about Facebook Marketplace. If you don't mind, if you can just let me know if you're just putting your items that you're creating on Marketplace to sell, or if you're actually okay. I am a long arm and embroiderer. I make T-shirts, quilts, and I put different posts out in different groups in areas mostly around me. Okay, so you're selling what you're making already. It's not like you're necessarily getting orders from people. So it's well, I won't say it's like an Etsy shop, but I guess it would be the same concept that you're making stuff, and then hopefully people will see it and want to buy it. Okay, so that's a good way of doing it. And with that being said, my next question that I was going to ask anyway would be inventory. Do you guys stockpile inventory? And if you do, or you do not, why? Why? Okay, and you said no is offering a service to make things. Okay, so you're putting the information out there saying that you're available to make things. Okay, that's a good idea. Uh, this is from Joanna Holmes. You finally caught me live. Well, thank you for stopping by. And I do appreciate you coming by and joining the chat. We're talking business right now. We've covered a few little areas and stuff. You might be able to find some things in the chat. But anyway, I'm glad that you were able to catch me live. And I hope that you'll enjoy our little conversation today and decide to come back again. So, right now, we're talking about people that have businesses or want to have a business. How are you going about marketing what your services are? Um, I have a website, but I'm not keeping it up. I need to keep it up so I can I do tell people to go to my website, but that's not really a good thing for me right now because I haven't updated it. So it really isn't doing anything for me. I got to get on there and update it. I have used Facebook Marketplace, but not necessarily marketing my service, nor have I done it to market anything that I have made. So that's interesting to know that. That's an avenue to use. I wasn't aware that that would be a viable avenue. So that's a good thing to know. Thank you so much for that tip. I will look into that. So anybody else got any other suggestions? Because like I said, I know we talked about vendor fairs and festivals and things like that last week. And I was just wondering if anybody does anything different in that. And if so, if that's helpful. And then the other question was inventory. Because for me, I don't keep an inventory. I I watch the baby booty with Eve, and long time ago when I first started watching her, I remember she said that she made the mistake of getting a large collection of inventory of different shirts and sizes and things like that. And she ended up stuck with a lot of stuff that she wasn't able to sell. So she stopped doing inventory. So when I decided to do my business, I did not do inventory. So what I do now when I get an order, I just go to the most reasonable site that I'm familiar with to try to find whatever it is that they're looking for and then purchase that. And of course, I always make sure I get a certain amount of my fee up front. And that's what I use to purchase their items with. And then I do the work. So I don't necessarily keep any inventory. Now, I do sublimation as well, and I do teach. Let me back up and correct that. I do have some inventory, but it's very little. I have quite a few T-shirts. I have quite a few sublimation shirts, not a lot, and so I do have things available. I have a few tumblers, I have a few cups, things like that you can use to supplement, and things that I can use to do embroidery if somebody wants to have that done. I have a few rhinestones that are already. I have the templates for them already, and all I have to do is just press it on. And I also have quite a few rhinestones where I can create my own templates and go ahead and customize an order for someone if they want it. So, just to be honest about it, yes, I do have some inventory. I have a small amount of inventory, but I don't have a large amount of inventory. And if somebody wanted 10 shirts of the same color, and same size, I would not be able to do that without going out and getting something, ordering something, because I don't have 10 shirts of this and 10 of that and 20 of this. I don't have that kind of inventory. And I never wanted to have, I don't have the space, number one. And number two, I don't want to invest money and tie it up like that. And then you have things that you never sell and it's just sitting there. Because for me, I feel like I did way too many rhinestones. I love rhinestones. I love the way they look, but I don't do them often enough. And I have plenty of rhinestones to do a lot of stuff with if I needed to do so. So what do you guys think about the inventory? Now for Anne, since you do long arm and quilts and embroidery and stuff, I would assume you do have a nice stash of things that you have. So does anybody else? And I know Yola being you do a lot of crafting, so I would assume you have a decent stash of inventory as well. And you say you need to play with rhinestones. A tutorial from from me would be awesome. I am not the rhinestone queen. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm just gonna be perfectly honest with you. I do rhinestones. But if you really want to learn how to do them correctly and do them well, I am definitely going to refer you to Eve at the Baby's Booty, because that seems to be her forte right now. She is doing a lot of rhinestone type classes, and she does it for a fee. But she does do rhinestone classes, and people are loving it. And she also is selling rhinestones. So and I don't consider her a competitor. So it's not like jumping ship or anything. It's just if you want to learn how to do it and do it correctly, I would recommend you to go to someone that does that on the regular. I don't do it on the regular, but I do know how to do it, and I have done it, and I will do it if someone needs it done and wants me to do it for them. So Joanne, I don't keep a lot of inventory on hand either. Okay, and here, yep, there's that laugh. Okay, did I make the live look like I am at the tail end of it? No, you're fine. You are not at the tail end of the live. I have to tell you, it is, what is it, like 8:40, but and I don't know how we're gonna do tonight. It just depends how everybody wants to do it. But we've been hanging out for over an hour every week, so you're fine. You are on, and we have discussed some things, but still a lot of stuff to talk about. So thanks for joining, Karen Cole. If you don't mind, can you tell me where you are? Welcome, and I'm glad that you stopped by. And Joanna Holmes says Eve is the rhinestone queen. That I will definitely give her credit for that. She loves it and she does it well. it, and if you want to learn anything about rhinestone and you want to learn how to do it correctly, because that's how I learned. I'm just gonna be honest about it. I watched her, and that's how I learned how to do it. And I'm the type of person, I would look at a video or I would look at a live, and then I save them so I can look at them again, and then I go ahead and try my hand at it, and I usually end up doing it my way, but I get it done. As long as I get the basics and the concept, then I can fix it the way I want to do to make it make sense to me. So if you want to learn how to do it right, check out Eve. Okay, Sue Davis, welcome for stopping by. You said school, weddings for advertising, very little inventory. I had a wedding shop and have an inventory, so I'm making pageant dresses and I'm breaking down the dresses. Okay, okay, so that's good. That's good. And so you do your advertising for your with schools and for weddings and stuff like that. Good idea. And you've been missing the live. Well, like I tell everybody, if you think you're too late, just chime in and see, because we have been being here and not getting off at exactly 9. Joanna Holmes, I'm from Central Time, St. Louis, Illinois area. Well, St. Louis is my birthplace. That's my home. That's where all my mom, my dad, grandparents, cousins, uncles, so forth and so on. Most of those people are gone now, but that's where, and that's the reason why I'm not there anymore, because most of them have passed on, and it was getting a little thin as far as relatives were concerned. So I kind of followed my kids. But St. Louis is my home, and so welcome. You're home girl. Glad you could stop in. I miss St. Louis sometimes. I really do, because it's no place like home. TR, I don't keep a lot of inventory. Won't unless I decide to brand. Okay. And yes, your family are coaches. Karen, Tampa Bay area, Florida. Been watching you till you took a break, then saw you are back and watched you last week. Live replay. You inspire me. Well, thank you so much. I lived in Clearwater and Pinella Park when I was down in Florida for 3 years. So, and I bought my machine out of Tampa. So I'm everywhere. So you are a homegirl too. Yeah, I miss Clearwater. I do. And the Pinella. I worked down there. I enjoyed it. I didn't like crossing all those bridges and stuff with all that body of water, because like I mentioned earlier, I'm from St. Louis, pretty much Midwest. We don't have those big huge bodies of water and big bridges. And if you go over the Sky Bridge heading to Sarasota, that goes straight up in the air and then comes straight down, because my son lives over on the other side. That's just too much for me. So when I was in Florida, I didn't do a whole lot of moving around on my own. My son had to do the driving, because I ain't like going across those bridges with all that body of water. But it's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. May go back down there. I don't know. I don't know. So, okay. I mentioned other craftings, and I was just curious about, because, like I mentioned, I do sublimation and I do rhinestone and I do embroidery. That's pretty much the crafting that I do. I do know how to sew, but I don't want to get into sewing. I worked in a sewing factory for 6 years, and I used to make my own clothes and my daughter's clothes and things like that. But that's been a whole lifetime ago. And I don't mind doing a little sewing, but not at all for a service to anybody. I'm not going to hem you a pair of pants. I'm not going to do it. So don't even ask. I don't want to do that kind of sewing. Okay, Karen, you say you're from Massachusetts and then North Carolina, and now you're in Florida. It's interesting how we tend to travel and move around and things like that. I've done that as well. I've even been out to the Pacific Northwest for a while. When I was working, I got moved out to Seattle, so I lived out there for a while, Seattle, Portland area, and so been out that way as well. And also lived in Michigan for a while, so I've been around. That's not a good idea to sew in men for people. I agree. Exactly. Thank you. I agree. Yeah. It's bad enough you get people that want to complain. Well, I've been lucky. I haven't had anybody complain about my embroidery, knock on wood. I haven't had anybody complain about any of the things that I've been doing here lately. My embroidery, my sublimation, my rhinestone, none of that. But I have had people, because you have to do that fitting and everything has to fit properly, and it's a lot of back and forth and stuff. And I did that. I don't want to mess with that mess no more. Okay, Yola Bean, amen on no hemming. Exactly, because people are always asking me for things like that. I have my favorite tailors and they're at the ready. Agree, because when I was working, I had a tailor that I went to get I'm short. So every time I bought slacks and even some dresses or skirts, I had to have them taken up. And I went to my tailor, hem this. I didn't even try to hem it. And even now, I have things that need hemming, and I keep saying I'm going to get on my machine, since it is a sewing machine and an embroidery machine, and do some hemming. And I have yet to do so for myself. I might do it one day, but I'm not into that sewing thing. And I don't think that I'll ever get into quilting either, because I don't think I want to put all those pieces together. That to me seems like that's a lot of a tedious job to do. So thank you. Thank you for I've gotten several compliments about my shirt. It's a trend that I'm seeing a lot of people are doing. When I was looking for some videos, I had mentioned I do have a video that just went out. I don't know if you were on here when I mentioned it. There's a video that I just uploaded just before the live tonight. So it's fresh right out the pan on YouTube, where I did this shirt. So I made this shirt today, and I did the video talking about how I set it up in embrilliance, and I talk a lot about how to use embrilliance more so than the shirt itself. But people are loving it. But what I was about to say is that when I was doing my research about how to do them, I ran across a video that was a year old, because they're saying it's the new trend. It's the new trend. It's not actually the new trend, because people were doing it over a year ago. And I don't know if it's just coming back around. I don't recall seeing it a year ago, but this video that I looked at is a year old, and at least a year old. So it's been out a while. But yeah, I decided that I wanted to give it a try. And I see Crafty Puerto Rican is not on here, but she did a video on it. And I saw her video. I saw Dawn from Creative Applique do a video. I saw Angela Jasmina did a video. Um, some guy did a video, and everybody, and I saw a couple of others that I didn't actually look at. I just kind of saw the title and so forth. But everybody does it differently. It was confusing for one thing, but it was really interesting to see that the end results turned out to be the same, but everybody seemed to be doing it differently. So, give it a try. You say Carly Bell has done that as well. Okay. I haven't seen that one, but yeah, it's been out. I sew and embroidery baby items only. And Joanna, I have a brand new great granddaughter, and she was born last year in July. I had the most fun making cute little embroidered onesies and caps and the quilts, putting the designs and all the little circles or heirloom quilts that you can get. I just went baby stuff crazy. And the other day I was looking at my some of my designs and stuff because I know I got to figure out a way to get them organized. We had talked about the embroidery thumbnailer, and I need to get my designs organized, but I did not realize I had bought so many baby designs. I got a ton of them, but they are so cute. And I have thought about that as a niche. I really have, because I love doing it, and it's just so sweet when you do them. Okay, I love your placement is a little lower. I had a hard time trying. I really wanted it up higher, but my machine wouldn't let me do it. Now, I know that we talked about the playbook last week, the playbook that you can get for your brother's 10 needle machine. And one of the videos in the playbook talks about using that icon that I had talked about earlier. And I don't know if you were on when I mentioned it, but it's in my video. There's an icon with a magnifying glass, and then another icon with a crosshair, and you can find your placing. But she did have, there was one thing that she was trying to do where she actually had to unhoop it and move it in order to get the crosshair where she wanted it. I could not get the crosshair where I wanted it up higher. And I didn't keep trying because when I was doing my tracing, that's the reason why I didn't. It was going outside of the hoop. I used my mighty hoop, and it was going outside of the hoop, so it wasn't going to stitch. I had to move it down, so there was no way for me to get it done any closer. So I'm glad you like this. I looked at it and I said, this is fine. I'm okay with it. It does have the curve, and that's the important part. It doesn't necessarily have to be that close to the band up here. So that's why it looks like this. Okay, I sew for babies. Okay. Grandkids are great to embroider gifts for them. Yep. I just curved it, TR, just curved it to where it looks nice in embrilliance. The rest I let I let God handle. Yep. That's pretty much how it comes out. I make onesie for the pregnancy center. Okay. That's, yeah, I guess you get a lot of business there. Hello, this is Leslie. How you doing, Leslie? I watched the video from the Creative Applique last week and I won the giveaway. Oh, well, good for you. I never win anything. Bought the font. We'll try the technique soon. I did buy that font. And the shirt that I have on, not this one, but the shirt that I have on the video when I first started is a different color and it's a different font. That's the font that I got from Creative Applique. I think it's called uh, Cursive Floss. And I bought that font, and that's what I used for my first shirt that I did to try it out before I actually tried to do a tutorial and put on YouTube. And I like the font. It's like a handwritten font, but I wanted something a little different because this particular saying is my business name, Soul to Soul Stitches and Things. That is my on my that's my logo pretty much. That's what's on my business card. That's the name of my business. So I really wanted to do that. I didn't want my name on there and all of that kind of stuff. So I know when Angela did hers, she did hers and her daughter's name on her shirt and everything. And I said, like, I don't need to do that. Okay. Do you donate? Oh, okay, you're asking Ann about donating. Sue, absolutely. After having a bridal shop, alterations don't you don't want back in sewing. Embroidery is what I want to do more. Trying to decide on a 6 needle or a 1050X. I have a PRS 1000 and you love it. Um, the 1055X or the 1050. The 1055X is the newest brother 10 needle. Um, Now I know that the 6 needle brother is running significantly less expensive than the 1055X. That could make a decision for you. For me, I got the 10 needle. I went from a single needle to a 10 needle. And if I had my way, I would have gone on to a 16 needle. But having a true commercial embroidery machine in a small apartment is not something that is not viable because too heavy, too big, too much noise, all of that. But I really wanted more needles because I tend to, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I love really pretty decorative type embroidery and I love big jacket backs. I do a lot of jacket backs and I wanted a huge hoop. The 14 by 14 is fine, but I would like to have one bigger than that. I'm in love with the Luminaire. Luminaire is a single needle machine, but it has this big huge hoop that I'm just in love with. But if I was to get another multi needle machine, I would get a Melco because they have 16 needles. That's one of the main things, and they have a nice, good size hoop. I think it's a 16 by something. It's much bigger than the jumbo hoop, which is a 14 by 14, which you don't even get the whole 14 by 14 when you're actually doing the hooping. But it's a lot better than just having your 8 by 12 if you're using Mighty Hoop. So making up your mind about which I guess would depend upon what it is that you want to do with it. For me, the more the merrier. That's how I roll. The more needles I have, the better because that's less changing of thread. Okay, I want to put that on my t-shirt collar. Yeah. I a lot of people, well several people did it on sweatshirts, but I wanted to do mine on a t-shirt because I wanted to do it for spring. Okay, and I need to donate baby items in my area. It's been on my heart. Okay. Yeah, that's really nice. So, did you use the array button for the curve? N- I, I don't know what that is. And what is the array button? The only thing that I know about array button on the brother machine is for the colors of the text. So explain that to me because I didn't use an array button. Okay, TR, that's what I want, a large embroidery field. I've been wanting a luminaire since starting embroidery, but budget. Yeah, when I went to the dealer to pick out my machine, and I had done my research and I had made up my mind that I wanted the Brother PR 1055X, but I had also learned about the Luminaire and all of the wonderful things that it does. When I got to the dealer, she was showing me the PR 1055X and I spied the luminaire over in the side, and I kind of meandered over there and looked at that machine, and I was salivating, and I was literally trying to make up my mind which one I wanted because I honestly wanted them both. Can't do that. And I had even said, which one should I get? The dealer said get the 1055, the 1055X. and which is what I wanted in the first place. So that's probably what I would have done even if she hadn't said it. But for a brief moment, I was Luminaire because they were running the same price. I was Luminaire because I love that Luminaire machine. But yeah, it's not cheap and it's not coming down. Yeah, I love my PR 1055 and it's on my brother PRS 100. Okay. And it's called Array. You can array your text. Can you explain what that means? Because I don't know what array is in reference to doing the curve. So um it's not computing. You yes, curve that text. So it curves the text and it curves your text. What I used, and it's on my video, and maybe we're talking about the same thing, but I just don't know the terminology. If you go into Embrilliance and you're on your object panel down there where you can manipulate the movement of your text, there is uh, where you can do a double line, you can do the single line, or you can do a circle. I use the circle and then I manipulated the um, the wording by using the little handle that's on your the have you have the little nodules that are on your letterings and everything, and then on one end of it it has the little movement handle where you can move it around and everything, and you can adjust it that way. Now that's the way I did it. Now I do know that everybody that I looked at had a different way of doing things. So that may be what I'm talking about. I just don't know that is the name that it is called. Okay, so do you do it with the software? Yes, I do it with the software. I do it with Embrilliance, and I if you look at the video, it will explain to you better than what I probably can tell you now how I actually did it because I showed it to. Array is a function that curves the text on my Baby Lock Venture, and Spirit should be the same on the Brother Machine. It probably is. I think it may have a different name. I don't know. But yeah, I typically do it with Embrilliance, but love the array option on the machine. Okay, so this is on your machine. I'm not familiar with that. I gotta look into that. I typically do it with Embry. Okay, I've used the array on the brother. Think it's a brother term. Like on our tablets, our 1055X that has the large, medium, and small in the design center. And I do know that they have an array button in the text area. But well, first of all, I did my curvature in Embrilliant software. I did not do it on the machine. So that answers that question. As far as the array button on the machine, I am familiar with the array button. I know exactly where it is, but I thought it was for you to be able to change the colors where you can have the different every letter can be a different color. Am I mistaken on that? So I think that's what it was for. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. But I'm gonna have to look that up. When we get off of here, I'm gonna look it up and see exactly what it's for. Because yes, I am familiar with the array button on the Brother machine. I know exactly where it is. And it's in your text panel. I have not used it that much, but I think that's what what it's supposed to do, but I didn't know that it did the curvature. Okay, you will love it. So I'm going to have to give it a try because I probably just didn't realize that it did curvature as well. But I did mine in no, it's not color, curves up or down, or a sideways. Okay, all right. So it's a different one that does the color. I don't remember what it's called, but I know it's one in there that does. You can click on and you can do different colors, and this one is the one that does the curves. Okay, so I have to check it out. But yes, I am familiar with the array button, but I didn't remember that it did curves. But to answer your question, no, I did not use my machine. I used my software, and that is shown in the video. Yes, I'm it's in the text panel. Right, exactly. I know where it is. I know exactly where it is. So if anybody else that has the machine, you can check it out. I'm definitely going to check it out and see what it does. But maybe that would have been an easier way of doing it. I don't know. Like I said, I saw so many videos and everybody did it differently. They did it differently, and I don't know anybody that got their wording up real close, which I wanted mine closer, but I couldn't get it closer. So I'm satisfied with the way it is now. So I don't have an issue with that. So um those are the questions and stuff that I had intended on uh bringing up and discussing. I know that I had a, let me see if anything I missed on here about the array button, the curves, text. The technology is awesome. That was one thing that I've been trying to do specifically with my playbook and occasionally with the manual because I did start a learning your machine series last year and I didn't finish it. So I need to get back into that. That's my plan because our machine our machine is awesome and it does a lot of stuff that a lot of us probably are not even beginning to touch. I know for myself I'm not. I learn something new every day almost about what my machine can do that I wasn't aware that it could do. Because with the array button, I guess I forgot about what it did because I have seen it and I may have even used it, but I haven't done that in a while. Okay, you said we all have so much to learn. Yeah. And Karen, you said very easy, cool that we have so many choices. I just forget because my mind doesn't want to multitask anymore. I know. I was talking to Andrea Ross. I don't know if she's still on here or not, but she and I have been talking about what um, things to talk about and do on the live. And I am planning on doing some demos and things like that on live eventually. But like I was telling her, I I'm not at the state of multitasking as well as I used to. And I said, I will get so engrossed in what it is that I'm doing, I will forget all about the chat. So it is like, I don't know yet how I'm going to handle that, but eventually I will, where we can do some little fun things. So, yeah, so much more to learn. And hi, son. My son has hopped on next to you, LLC. He's in Florida. And yep, my son that just hopped on is in Florida, and I have a son that is in Virginia. I have two sons, so one is in Virginia and one is in Florida. Then my daughter is here in Maryland, and I don't think she's on tonight. I haven't seen her. So those are my three. Excuse me. Those are my three kids. That three adults. I don't have kids anymore. And you are in Virginia. Where in Virginia are you? My son is in Woodbridge. I think I may have mentioned this before, but I used to live in Woodbridge. I lived in Woodbridge before I moved down to Florida. So I call myself a nomad. because I've moved around so much. Wherever I lay my head is my home, kind of like. There's a song like that, and that's kind of like I am. Wherever I lay my head is my home because I've moved around so much. I can remember my oldest son. Well, both of my sons are Marines, and my oldest son was in Desert Storm, and I think this was before Desert Storm though. But he was in the service, and I had moved from where we were living when he was still in high school because I got a job that moved me away. So his first time coming to where I had moved to, I had sent a car to pick him up from the airport, and he told the driver that he was on his way home. And the driver said, "So where is home?" And he said, "I don't know. I've never been there." So it was like my own son didn't know where his home was anymore because I move around so much. I thought that was so funny when he told me that he mentioned that to the driver. But yeah, moving around a lot, and then I ended up, with a job that moved me around a lot, which was a lot of fun because I got a chance to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different not necessarily cultures, but the way everybody has their own little thing. So, and you are right. Okay, yeah, you told me that you're between Richmond and Williamsburg. Okay, and Leslie, you are in Lake Ridge, Virginia, and you are retired Army. Well, thank you for your services. And my hubby was Air Force and Desert Storm too. Okay, yeah, that Desert Storm was something else. My oldest son was at in Desert Storm, and my youngest son had just gotten out of boot, and they were getting ready to send him to Desert Storm when the war ended. So that was a blessing. He I had the oldest one that was there, and I'm going crazy over him and mad as heck at Saddam Hussein because you're sitting up here gonna maybe hurt my baby, and that ain't gonna be too cool. And then my youngest son called me up and told me that they told him to get his will together because they was getting ready to send him. So that was, oh my God, that was a trying time. Trust and believe that was a trying time. So I'm sure that was the same with you. Karen, I remember you talking about traveling and your car broke down, and I felt bad. I had said I had, if I had known my husband and I could have gone and helped. And it was very hot, and maybe you guys had to wait for your tow. Yes, that was the trip, the hard trip from hell coming from Florida up here, and the truck had a blowout, and that's what it was. The truck had a blowout, and we had to wait forever in a day to get that taken care of so we could get back on the road. We sat on the road uh 5 hours in the heat. It was really bad. And thank you for your sons and husband service. Yes, it is. Yeah, having military. This I have so many military people in my family. So yeah, we're military people. I myself have never been in the military, but both of my boys have, and cousins and brothers and dads and stuff like that. Thank you and your son for their service too. Lake Ridge is part of Woodbridge. Okay, I should know that. I think I might know that where that is now that you mention it. Yeah, okay. But yeah. So you're not that far away. You're not that far away. Huh, maybe we can meet up one day. Who knows? Not that far away because I know my son is in Woodbridge. I don't go there that often. Okay, Dale City. Yeah. I think I remember Dale City. Can't put my mind exactly at this point where it is in that area, but the name is familiar. So I oh, I know what I want to ask before we get off. I want to make sure, and I think I mentioned this before, and I really didn't get any big feedback from anybody. What do you want me to bring to the table Potomac Mill Mall. Yep, girl. I know exactly where that is. Potomac Mills Mall. Yep. Um, I was there for Thanksgiving and went to see Black Panthers at the theater at Potomac. Me and my daughter and my son and his bride and all. So we went there to see the movie. So yeah, I've shopped at the Potomac Mill for quite a while, so I know exactly where that is. Exactly. But what I was asking, because I want to make sure that I bring something to the table that you guys are going to be interested in, that's going to be useful to you and helpful to you. What is it that you want me to talk about? Have you embroidered with mylar? Yes, I have. I made some Christmas ornaments with some mylar. I did the lace, the freestanding lace, and I put the mylar in it, and so and stitched it. So that's what I've done with mylar. So yes, I have done that, and I can look all of that stuff up and see where my because I had a lot of mylar. I think I still have it. So that could be a project that I can do. And I want to do freestanding lace. I have a video that I just put out on freestanding lace, and I made something the other day with freestanding lace. And this, when I did the video on freestanding lace, I did it and then I kind of glued it to my pan. And somebody mentioned, well, you could have stitched directly on the pants, which is true, but they don't consider that freestanding lace when you put it on something. Freestanding lace is when it stands alone and it's not actually put on a garment directly. But I did this cute little bow because I wanted to put something together. And so I thought this turned out really cute. I did that the other day just out of curiosity. I did the wine knot quilt with mylar. Okay, that I don't know. And thanks, it's cute. Oh my granddaughter would love that. I'm stumped on the type of stabilization. I can do that. I do have a video that I did in the beginning over a year ago on stabilization. I've done one on needles. I've done one on hoops. What else have I done? Those like the basics. So when I first started, I did a lot of the basic information, but I'm more than happy to talk about needles. Matter of fact, that was recommended. So I think what I will do next week is talk about needles and stabilization because there's so much and knowing what to do, and everybody has their own opinion about how it should be done. Some people like to layer them, some people like to crisscross them, some people will use tearaway when they really shouldn't be using tearaway. They should be using cutaway. And what is the rule? If you wear it, don't tear it. So you don't use tearaway stabilizer on any kind of clothing that you're going to have. Now, I have to admit, when I stabilized this particular design, I used the no-show um, cutaway mesh. That's my go-to for t-shirts and stuff like this because I don't want it to be thick and bulky, but I do want that stabilization. So I use no-show uh, um, cutaway mesh, and you can't see it. But because of the way I had to hoop it, I saw someone else in a video used um, tearaway as well. So that's what I did. I had my no-show, then I had my tearaway, and I stitched it out. And naturally, I was able to tear away the tearaway stabilizer and just had the no-show. So I still don't have that bulkiness, but I had the tearaway to give me more stability in the hoop. So it's a lot of different ways of doing things, but I will do some research on that and update information. Okay, where did you get the design? This particular design, I'm I don't remember. It's I don't remember exactly where I got this particular font. I'll look it up and see what the name of it is, and maybe I can figure out where I got it from, and I'll let you know. I love to see anything that has to do with the 1055. Okay, very cute. I have so many kinds of stabilizer. It's ridiculous. Anything you want to share, especially those little nuances that arise when we have work through and can't quite find the answer or understanding for it. And okay, me too. What brand stabilizer was it for the nose show? I get my stabilizers mostly off of Amazon. And I think it was let me see. This is can you see that? Is it backwards? Hopefully not. It's the knee bro thread no show mesh stabilizer. This is the 12 by 10 yard and is 1.8 ounces. This is what I normally use. And I have the bigger roll where it's longer for bigger projects. And then I have the 10-inch, and I think the other one is a 12 inch. I think it's a 12 inch and a 10-inch that I have. This is the 10-inch, but I also have the 12-inch. And I use this a lot with t-shirts and stuff like that. I've even used it with sweatshirts too. And rarely do I have to double it. And I'm gonna tell you why. I look at John Deere occasionally, and John Deere said if you have your stabilizer hooped correctly, if you have it in there tight enough, taut, and the whole 9 yards, you don't have to double it. Some people will double. I know Dawn from Creative Applique, it was almost comical, and I'm not putting her down because she's the expert. I'm not. But when she did her curve um, her curve shirt, I even wrote down what she recommended that you gather for your material. And she said, curve name on t-shirt or sweatshirt, your supplies, adhesive spray, marker that wash aways or iron away, pins or a magnetic hoop, measuring tape or a ruler, printable printing stick, which I have that. Let me see if I can get it. I have this printing stick that you get from Dime, and I didn't use it. I have used it, but I didn't use it on this project, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is 25 sheets in here, I believe, and it works in your inkjet or your laser printer. And basically you can stick it onto you can print out your design and have the crosshair and the measuring and all of that, like this picture shows you up here how you can do it. And you can put it in the spot where you want it to be on your garment. And then when you hoop it, you have it, and then you do all your arranging to make sure everything's in the middle and stuff, and then you take it off. 25 sheets, and I know I paid 25 or $30 for that package. So I wasn't going to waste it on this little bitty spot right here. It's like, I'm just going to use regular paper. And that's what I did. I used regular paper, and I just kind of taped it down until I got it all the way I wanted. But yeah. But anyway, that's what she recommended. And then the part that was funny, she said she used the embroidery software. She used wash away uh, I'm having a blank right here. Um Stabilizer. She used the wash away stabilizer, fusible mesh, and tearaway stabilizer. So she had the fusible mesh, and she used tearaway, and then she put the wash away soluble stabilizer on top. She used three stabilizers just for this. I was like, no, I no. I don't think so. She's the only one I saw do it. But that's what she thought was necessary. So everybody does it differently. Everybody uses all kinds of different stabilizers and stuff. I don't have a go-to brand. Like I said, I get most of my stabilizer off Amazon, and I haven't had any issues with it. Okay. Where did I get the pattern for the bow? I think I got that off of I think I got it off of I want to say embroidery library. I think that's where I got it. Embroidery library is where I think I got it. And I have from Amazon, and I have used I've used that, and I used it for edge to edge. Okay. Yeah, I think I got the bow thing off of because I got yeah, I'm almost positive that's where I got this from because I just remember I did get a few more freestanding lace items that I'm going to do projects with. I keep it simple. No show fusible mesh is my cutaway. Tearaway, sticky tearaway, tender touch, heat away topper, and wash away type topper. And I have encountered uses for various items. I do the I'm pretty much the same. And I don't do all the different weights of different stabilizers where you have your light, you have your medium, you have your heavy. I don't do all of that. Maybe I should, but I've not had any issues with my embroidery. I don't think all of that is necessary. I do I have had some fusible no show mesh. I don't have any more, and I do plan to get some more of that. And I have regular cutaway stabilizer that I bought for thicker things. Like I use that for my jacket backs, and I don't know if it's something I have to. I do have tearaway. I do have the sticky tearaway because I do have the fast frames. I do use tender touch for the kids, and I do the wash away soluble stabilizer for your topper, and that's pretty much what I do too. And yes, I have no idea about the weights. I don't think that those are necessary. So Yola Bean, you're signing off, and thank you and good night. Cake and ice cream time for the granddaughter's birthday. Okay, because you guys are still a little early. Two of my machines don't like. Okay, all right. You know, I agree with machines don't like certain things that come off of Amazon. When I first got my SE 1900, I bought the thread, and I still have it. Nice case of thread. I don't know how many in it, 64 or some beautiful thread. And I was so happy, I got this thread. I forgot what I paid for it. I think it was Sim thread, I think. And my machine hated it. My SC19 hated that thread. It would not use that thread for it broke. I could use it, but it broke a lot. So I still have it. I don't use it. It's pretty and it's sitting in the case, but I don't use it because my machine just would not use it. And you say you use the diamond exquisite thread. I have fallen in love with Floriani. Now, most of the thread that I have back here is Metro EMB. I used to watch Eve a lot. In the very beginning, she was like my teacher. I ran across her channel, and I watched her religiously um, for months. And I'd come home from work, and I'm on my iPad, laying in the bed looking at Eve, and I learned a lot. And she recommended the Metro EMB thread. And I bought it. And at the time, it was a very good price. You could get their entire collection. And I think it was like 136 different colors. And it was $136 plus tax and shipping. And I bought it. And I still have it. And I still use it. And I do like it. It's good thread. They've gone up a little bit, not a whole lot, but they've gone up a little bit from that. But once I got my 10 needle machine, I noticed that the brother dealer sold Floriani thread. And I saw that thread up close, and it was so pretty, so vibrant. I have started buying Floriani. So right now, that's what I buy. Anytime I'm buying new thread, it is Floriani. Now, I've not used the Dime Exquisite thread. I have used, and I think they sell the King Star metallic thread. That's good thread. I think it's King Star. If you do any type of sewing with metallic thread, that would be one that I would recommend. I bought Madeira metallic. I bought the silver and the gold, and I still have the whole big 5,000 roll. I'll, I'm not impressed. I have some Madeira thread, not a lot. For me, the reason why I don't buy Madeira, not that it's not good thread, it is excellent thread. I don't like their policy. Madeira, you can go on their site, and I think you have to have a license number or something to register, whatever. I don't know. But I'm registered and stuff. And you go on their site and you can pick out whatever you want. And the prices aren't always, unreasonable. They're average prices, but they never tell you how much your final cost is going to be. You never know what your shipping is going to be. And you put your credit card information in there and everything. And then next thing you know, when you get your final receipt, they've added $25, $30 for shipping. I don't like that. If I buy something from you, I want to know before I click the button, say yes, I want it, what my final price is going to be. And Madeira doesn't do that. So I rarely buy anything from Madeira. The only time I buy something from Madeira is because I can't find it anywhere else that what I need. So that's my reason why I don't use Madeira, but I love Floriani thread. And Karen, you were saying yes, King Star is fantastic for metallic. Yes, it's the best metallic that I have found so far. You rarely get any kinks and tangling up. Now, what I have noticed with my King Star, when I'm using it and I have my speed down at the lowest speed, it still will pull in. And I don't know if anybody else has had this issue. All the other threads that's in its vicinity, with the motion of it, the whatever friction of it, it pulls in the other threads that are near it, and you can get it all tangled up. So what I end up having to do is unthread the ones that are around it, so just it is stitching, and I rarely have any breakage at all. I did a whole jacket back in gold King Star metallic thread, no problem. No problem. Okay, has anyone used candle thread? Candle thread. No, I've not. I don't think I've even heard of candle thread. I looked at candle thread, but apprehensive. I don't know anything about candle thread. Okay, yeah, give me my cost up front. Right. That's how I feel, and that's the reason why I don't use Madeira that much because I guess you've experienced what I've experienced. I don't like not knowing what my final cost is going to be, and they will not tell you. And I don't like surprises. I just like to know from Jump Street if it's going to be an extra $20, 25, $40, whatever the extra cost is going to be. I want to know what it is up front so I can say yes or no if I want to spend that much money for shipping because I might be able to get some Madeira thread not at Madeira and not have to pay that kind of money. And yeah, you can do that because there are other places that sell Madeira thread, so you don't necessarily have to get it directly from them. But one thing I do know on the weekend, and I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they will give you a shipping discount. So if you need to buy anything from Madeira, do it on the weekend and you can get a shipping discount. That much, if I remember correctly, the last few times that I purchased something from them, that's what it was. Okay, TR, I have been having great outcomes with exquisite thread. I just tried on a whim from my local sewing shop before. I've only tried Metro Pro. Okay. I haven't tried exquisite thread. I'm sticking to my Floriani. I love the color. Um, if you buy it from the Sew and Vac store around here, it's more expensive. But if you get it from R&K, and I think R&K is R&K Floriani, you can get the 1,000 or I think that's the 1,500 yard spool for right around $5. I think it's 4.95 or something. I think that's what it is. If my Sewing Vac sells it for 7.99, something ridiculous, but I still do the Floriani. Okay. Good night. Okay, it is what time it is? It's 9:37. It is time pretty much to say good night to those of you that need to go. And I am so thankful that you stopped by. I appreciate all your support. I'm going to take some of these suggestions down and see what I can come up with information. Again, I might do a freestanding lace. I will do, I'm going to look into the mylar, the freestanding lace, and definitely needles and stabilizers and get some information on that because we are all trying to learn our machines, and any other machine or software other than the Brothers or the Embrilliance, I'm not knowledgeable on it, but we certainly are open to learn about it. And if anybody wants to chime in and say anything about what it is that they use and whether or not why they like it or don't like it or how it works or whatever. And I am going to try to make a concerted effort to start learning a little bit about Wilcom Hatch since I have the software, and I know it does a lot of good stuff. It does a lot. And I know Yola Bean is gone, and Crafty didn't get on tonight. At least I don't see her name on here. They have the thumbnailer with embrilliance. I do. It doesn't work for me, but Wilcom Hatch has their organizer, and I can see my designs in there. So that'll help me hopefully get my stuff more organized and everything. So if nobody has anything else that they're pressing that they want to bring up or talk about, then I guess that we can just call it. Okay, TR, you use your thumbnail on your Mac. I can't get it to work. It's something that I'm not doing, and I know I need to find out what it is that I'm not doing right. Uh, you're the third person that's been on here that uses it and loves it. but I, for some reason, can't get it to work, and I don't know for the life of me why. I have no clue. I wish I did because I own it. I would like to be able to use it, but it doesn't work for me. Okay, where is the best place to buy a Melco? Good question. If you are familiar with, I did talk to Embroidery Support, and they didn't help me, so maybe I'll do it again. But over a year ago, I tried, and they didn't help. They weren't helpful enough. I put it that way. So let me get back to you, Sue. You asked. Good night, Andrea. Sue, you asked about where you can buy Melco. If you're familiar with Angela Jasmina, if you go through her dealer, you can get, if I remember correctly, a discount if you use her name. So you might want to check to see if that's still valid. And I know on her channel, she mentions the person name that her rep, who her rep is. And if you use her rep to buy your Melco, then you will get a discount. So you might want to check with her. That's my recommendation. Check with Angela's site and get the name of her Melco rep and call him up and go through him. And supposedly you would get a discount on your Melco. So try it out and let me know how that works. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Was it the price range? What's the price range for a Melco? Oh, Lord. The last time I looked into it, I want to say, and I might be wrong, but I want to say it was like 16. But that's been at least a couple of years or so. So I would just check and see because they don't advertise that stuff. But again, if you get that discount, that might bring it down. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate that. Good night. It's hard for me to convert to Windows. Well, I've never used a Mac. My son has a Mac and he loves it. I My job had Windows PC when I first got into computers because everybody was telling me way back 1,000 years ago to get a Mac, and I didn't want to learn two systems, so I got involved with a PC, and I've just stuck with it. I've not converted over to a Mac, but I do think that from all I've heard, I think Macs are easier to maneuver, and maybe when I grow up, I'll get a Mac. But right now, everything I own, everything I have, um, and that was back then when you used to have to literally buy the software, and it was a physical software that you had to actually load onto your machine. And everything I had was PC, and I didn't want to lose that investment, so I didn't want to switch. But now everything is digital, so I don't guess it would matter. But I've been using Windows forever. I've never used a Mac, but I understand Macs are wonderful. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say good night to everybody. It is a 9:45. We've had a long night, and yes, it is easier from what I've heard. And I do appreciate everybody stopping by. As usual, same time, same place next week. I'll have something hopefully of interest, and I will talk to you then. So you guys take care. And again, like I said, thank you for stopping by. Good night.